Yes. Dr. Mindy in the house. All right.
I appreciate that.
The carnivore diet.
Because of what we eat.
Honestly, you've really touched my heart.
What we look at as conservative medicine world are advocating for these psychedelics. And I think the time has come that we have to revisit this.
Yeah.
We have been warped into, I know the generation I grew up in was, this is your brain on drugs. And it was like an egg in a pan. And then I've got Austin Perlmutter talking about new neurons that are being grown in the brain and BDNF that gets upregulated that gives you a sense of happiness when you do psilocybin. So I'm so happy you led with that story, because I feel like as people are listening to this, I really want people to wake up to understand that the future of mental health is in these plant medicines. We just don't understand enough yet. So would you agree on that?
I just got so many chills. Because we have to ask ourselves why. Like, why did we get here? And you literally said, your brain on drugs, reefer madness that came out in the 1930s, the DARE program that I grew up in school, where marijuana was the same as heroin.
Yep.
Those two were made the same. So we asked ourselves, why? Why were those individuals on my podcast or your guests? Why did this conversation happen outside the actual recording?
Well said.
Because we're nervous. We're nervous to have people change their opinion on who we are because of something that we utilize to better our health, to better the way that we show up as a human being. Like so many things, but like at the core, like we want to become who it is we were meant to be. And that requires a lot of internal work, and it can be supported by these things. And if we can start to open up the conversation and change the narrative, then we won't be so afraid to talk about it publicly. But the thing is we've all been experiencing, we're kind of in a renaissance, but the most important piece of this is it needs to be led with education and also looking at the people who are talking about it.
Yes.
And what is their life actually like? Are they the Cheech and Chong stoner sitting on a couch eating a bunch of potato chips? Or are they a professional individual that I was responsible for $500 million spacecrafts for a part of my life. I did use cannabis outside of that. And was I supposed to? No, I wasn't. But I did because it was something that really helped me. Mm-hmm. And that is the problem, was we lived in this time, or we've experienced a time where the conversation just hasn't been standing on the proper foundation. And now it is. So now these conversations are really like, okay, well, I'm interested. I hear it coming up more and more. Now we need to start to understand that more ability to study it needs to happen, more ability to ask the questions, and just really be guides to experiencing these medicines in a light that is different than this story that we all tell ourselves. Because if we can step out of the story that we've been conditioned to know, then it opens us up to opportunity for another path, an alternative path.